Hi there guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Start Button. So before I get started, we do have a new handheld to show you, but before I get started, I'd just like to ask anybody who's not subscribed if you could take just a couple of seconds out of your day just to hit that subscribe button. I've noticed that of all the views that I get, I probably only have somewhere between like 3 and 5% subscribers who are actually watching the videos at the moment. So if you guys who are regularly watching or who want to be regularly watching can hit that subscribe button, that would do a world of goodness for me. Anyway, back to business. So welcome back, and I've got a new handheld to show you today. This right here is the R36T, and this is a little bit different. You can see it's the retro TV handheld. This is trying to do this in a CRT style, in a sort of throwback style. So let's take a quick look at the box first before we open up. So we can see they've put a little bit of attention into putting some graphics on here. Nothing that side, nothing that side. If we flip it over, here we've got some specs. So we can see before we even open it up that we are running emulec. I'm not the world's biggest fan of emulec, but it does work. It is an operating system that functions on these things, so we'll roll with it. It's all good. You can see processor quad-core Cortex A35. It's an RK3326 at the end of the day. It's the same thing that is in all of these budget handhelds. It's the same thing that's in this. It's the same thing that's in this. It's the same thing that's in this one as well. Like it's the same thing that is in pretty much most of the budget handhelds that you'll see in the sort of 20 to 35 pound range. For all of you who are sort of more dollar based, we're talking as far as US dollars, the sort of sub $50 range. Okay, anyway, you can see we've got Wi-Fi supported there. I'm not sure if this has actually got internal Wi-Fi. I wouldn't have thought so. I think it supports Wi-Fi, but I don't think it's actually got a Wi-Fi dongle in it. We'll find out. We'll take a look. Yeah, you can see OTG. There we go. OTG wireless controller. So yeah, what that means is it'll do wireless via the OTG ports. If you've got a Wi-Fi dongle already, then it'll do it via the OTG port. Anyway, let's get this thing open. This is the R36T. And when we open up, it is presented to us in quite a solid case. It's the same sort of case that we've been seeing on things like the My Mini, but this is unbranded. It hasn't got that unique style brand on it. This is produced by a different company. Let's open it up. And here we go. On this side, we've got a screen protector, we've got power cord, and we've got a manual. Quick browse inside the manual. Got some specs, got what's in the box, a few button shortcuts, how to switch cores, how to set side B and FTS games. You don't normally get that. Famicom Disk System games. You don't normally get instructions in the manual of how to change sides on Famicom Disk System games. So that's an interesting inclusion. But yeah, here we can see the rest of it there. I'll pop that aside. No, leave it. Let's have a look at the actual system. We're not here to faff around with instruction manuals. Anyway, here we go. Phone case off. Now here we can see it does have this shaped dome on it. The D-pad is done in the style of like a dial. So the face buttons, they feel all right. And you can see it's all done in this sort of retro TV style. Same layout as the K36S. And in fact, I would go as far as saying that this is just a repurposed K36S. This is a K36S in a different form factor, styled in a very unique way. It's essentially this system. I haven't covered this system yet, so anybody who would like to see me cover the K36S in an entire video on its own, then please drop a comment below saying that you want to see that, and I will do a video on that for you if there's enough interest. But yeah, we've got the K36S. This is essentially K36S in a very modified form factor. Okay, you've got the usual buttons on here. Actually, what we can do, let's take the K36S out of its box here. We'll compare these directly. We can see just how similar these things are. So, you can see very similar form factor here. They look very similar. All the layout is exactly the same. If we flip these over, see they've even got the butt humps on the back there. The sticker on the back is very similar. You can see these are very, very similar devices there. Okay, and the D-pad is a sort of rounded D-pad on this as well. So it's for them to change it to this, it didn't take an awful lot of effort. They just needed to change the plastic on the actual D-pad rather than how the D-pad actually feels. It does feel a bit different. Not massively different, but it does feel a bit different. I don't know whether that's just down to the texture of the thing, but it does feel a little bit different. But it's, you know, you can tell they've very much taken this as the base model and then morphed it into this. Anyway, let's turn the thing on. Here we go. They've really gone for this retro TV style. And here we go. You can see, believe your glory days. Yeah, very much retro TV. Yeah. Look at that. And this even does the same as what the K36S does with that. So here we go. We've got, you can see how they've done this theme to fit this border. Oh, and that is quite loud. Let me turn that down. Let's turn that down quite a bit. There we go, that's better. So, clicking through, you can see the card is loaded with games as usual. We are on Emulec, but you can see this is a square screen behind this rounded style. They've basically taken the same screen as this, you know, and put a different covering over it as such. I quite like it. It is unique. If we pop in here into the Emulec settings, they've clearly modified software to cope with how they've done this overlay here. So if we go down here, you can see there's an after sales support, and you can see they've actually put an after sales section into the software there, which is interesting. And if we have a look here, user interface settings, theme, you can see they've gone with a retro TV theme. If we go to configuration here, yeah, so you can see they've gone with a specific theme. Now, I'm not a fan of the cards absolutely loaded full of ROMs here. They don't have the license to you know, to do this. How does the thumbstick feel? Yeah, the thumbstick basically feels the same as on the other system. Yeah, it's very much a K36S with a retro TV theme going on here, which that's not necessarily a bad thing. What that does mean is that ArcOS does work on here because it's a K36S. With the K36S, you can download the K36 ArcOS image, and if you go with panel 4 for the GTB files, it works. The same does happen with this. You can do that with this, but let me show you the little catch. So let's just turn this off. So let's pop that out there. And you can see the card on this, it literally just says 64. I would not trust this to survive any length of time. This is completely unknown as to how good this is. Probably not very good when it's only branded as 64. Okay, so bear that in mind. You will probably want to back up that card and transfer it to a better one. Anyway, I've put the ArcOS onto this card. So let's pop that in and boot up, and I'll show you what happens when I actually boot this up. You see ArcOS does start booting. You might be thinking, yes, ArcOS, brilliant, you know, this is going to be great. And you can see I've done the K36 image. And now you can see the problem. Everything's cut off. Everything's cut off. So it is usable. It absolutely is usable. But everything's cut off because the screen is cut off. If you're okay with that, then by all means crack on. You know, if you're okay with it having the edges cut off, then you can by all means crack on. But it's, yeah, it's not fitting the screen perfectly because they've put this around the edge of the screen. And so you can see the screen is cut off. Then you can see my screen's actually not straight there. You can see it's, but yeah, it works. ArcOS works. We can say ArcOS definitely works, with a caveat. Okay, it does have the outer edge of the screen cut off there. Now, if I go into UI settings and theme, I tried to just rip the theme off the other OS, but watch what happens. Let's switch theme to retro TV, and it doesn't work. Just ripping the theme flat out just doesn't work. It's not immediately compatible with ArcOS, so that's not ideal. Switch that back, and I've put the Epic Cody theme on here as well. You can see Epic Cody's there, but again, it's cut off on the outside. So, yeah. Oh, and now we've got the Epic Cody music as well. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to quit that. I'm going to shut down the system. So yeah, ArcOS does work, but at least, you know, without modification, you're going to have the square outside cut off of the image there, which some people might be fine with. You know, you can go into RetroArch and change settings in game so that it brings it down a bit, and so, you know, you might be perfectly fine with that. Other people, that's going to be a deal breaker for. The thing is that the actual OS that this came with, the emulator that this came with, they've clearly designed a system specifically around, or rather designed a theme specifically around this system. So yeah, you know, that's going to be your best fit for a theme at the moment. I haven't dug deeper into this to see, you know, how well I can tinker to get around it. That might be something for a future video. That might be something I just take offline, and just, you know, tinker around with in my own time. But let me show you another little trick that this thing has got. This thing's got a little secret. So you can see that memory card, that's the stock memory card, that's out. My other memory card, my ArcOS memory card, that's out. I have no memory card in this, and we've only got one memory card slot. So you can see the device. As far as like the feel of the device is concerned, it feels pretty decent. Like the buttons feel decent. The D-pad doesn't actually feel terrible. And the shoulder buttons are quite clicky, but they're okay. They'll do the job. It very much feels like what this feels like. Like I said, guys, if you want me to do a video on the K36S, by all means, let me know. Drop a comment down below, and I will do so. But anyway, this has got another hidden feature. So I've removed all memory cards from this. There is no memory card in this at all. Watch what happens when I turn this on. So this has got eMMC in it. It's got onboard storage, which is where the OS is actually stored. But watch what happens when we boot this without the memory card. You can see we've still got the retro TV thing going on here. And oh, what's this? It essentially boots into a Famiclone mode. We can't go back. There's no back. We have no buttons for any other functions here. We just have Famicom games, NES games. And these aren't commercial NES games. These are, you guessed it, these are bootlegs, like you'd find on a Famiclone, system, like one of these, plug and play things, or one of these really cheap handhelds which have got like 512 in one or something like that. So these are your bootleg games. I don't know if you guys have seen any of my other videos, but those of you who have will know that this has something very similar. This is the R36 Ultra, and this has something very similar going on. And as far as like the ROM set of the bootlegs is concerned, it's a very similar ROM set. It's not identical. I've looked through. It's not identical, but there are a lot of same ones. That one's definitely on there. There's things like Baseball and Blobman. They're definite crossover. There's some that aren't on that are on this and aren't on that. But yeah, it's a definite crossover. And there's, as you can see, there's a fair few of these. And just Goalkeeper's one that I don't remember being on the Ultra. Let's just go into here and just show a game running on this screen. So this is Goalkeeper for the NES, a completely unlicensed bootleg game. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, okay, so we are the goalkeeper. I thought we were shooting. Okay. With the goalkeeper. 2, 1. No, I'm clearly no good at being a goalkeeper. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. No, I am terrible at this. Anyway, let's come out of that. So yeah, this is the R36T. How do I feel about it? What do I think? It's an interesting system. It's very much a niche. It's its own weird little niche. It is a clone of the R3, not the R3, so the K36S. It's very much a clone of the K36S, done in this CRT TV style. It's a square LCD screen. Well, this is square, it's a rectangle. It's a 4x3 LCD screen, but behind this curved panel, basically. It's had effort put into it. It's had effort put into it, and it's a neat little gimmick. You can play games on it. That being said, the D-pad leaves a bit to be desired. It's quite a stiff D-pad with not a great pivot to it, which, considering it's a circular considering it's a circular D-pad, you'd think that it's got a good pivot to it, but it really hasn't, to be honest with you. It can feel a little bit cramped on times back here, especially if you're trying to fit your fingers and bring the grooves. It can feel a little bit cramped. It's not terrible, but it can feel a little bit cramped. Shoulder buttons are a bit clicky. I like this style of it, and I like the effort that's been put in. It is still, at the end of the day, a budget MU-elect clone. And no amount of sort of stylizing will cover that up. It's still an interesting system. It's again very much in your budget range. It's an interesting system. It's a niche. Do not buy this for your main system, or at least I wouldn't buy this for my main system. This is very much a niche little thing that you're going to play as a gimmick. This is a gimmick system. Can you sit there for hours and play games? Yes, you can. You can do that quite comfortably. But to have this as your main handheld, I cannot recommend that. Would I recommend it over its sort of big brother here? Not really. Like it's more fun as a gimmick, but functionally and as like a if you're picking like one system to have as your main handheld, you're probably better off picking this one. This has got its downsides as well. Like I said, if you want me to do a full video on this, then comment below. But let's bring our old comparison in. R36S. If we're comparing the two of these together, the R36S is still your better value for money. If you need one cheap handheld as your main system, you cannot go wrong with the R36S. This one here, the R36T, is a very unique system. It's a very niche system, and it's got quirks. Those quirks have upsides and downsides. If you want just a solid system, the R36S. The R36S is slightly cheaper than this as well. If you wanted to save yourself a bit of money and have more of a general all-round system than a gimmicky system, the R36S is still the one to go for with these. Okay. I do like it as a concept and how they've presented it. It is fun. It's neat, it's fun, it's quirky, it's given me some enjoyment. But that's what it is. It's a quirky handheld that stands out in a sea of handhelds that are all trying to pretty much do the same thing as this one. This one does things a little bit differently. If you want something that's a bit quirky and a bit fun and that isn't going to take itself too seriously, by all means, your retro TV one, the R36T, is a fun system. But I still can't recommend it as your main system. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it from me on this one. If you liked what you saw, give us a thumbs up. Make sure to drop a comment below if you've got anything that you want to discuss on this. Again, as well, if you want me to do a video on the K36S, which I do have here, then drop a comment below saying that you want to see a video on it, and I will make sure I get that done for you. If there's a want, then I will go for it. Anyway, that's it from me. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.